B97. Thanks so much for listening this afternoon. Cherise Frege, and joining me in the studios, I have Nikki, Jeff, and Benny of KRUSH UK. Thanks, guys, for coming in today.
Hey, what's up?
92.3 The Point. We have some special guests in our studio. KRUSH UK. Welcome, guys.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Real rock band in the studio here. Your music is, and Benny said this, imagine Oasis and Cheap Trick getting into a fight at a party at Paul McCartney's house with Moby as the DJ.
You can't print. That's not real. Really print that.
Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Doing? So y'all are like, fashion-wise, y'all are like the hipster guys of New Orleans who are reliving the Duran Duran, looking cool.
You do it well.
Yeah, no, I'm complimenting you, brother. Y'all are like
I
the
like
sharp
it.
dressers. So the new CD is out. Y'all had your record release party.
Yeah.
It went very well.
Yeah, we were really happy with
Packed.
It was packed.
Thanks for coming, everybody who came out. We appreciate
Absolutely. I want you to know that how much we tried because it was hard finding a parking space.
Really?
Yeah. I drove around the block like 3 times.
Over to Stephanie Regal and one of our most popular bands. The New Orleans pop rock scene is something of an underground phenomenon. It's a large and loyal group of fans that's often overshadowed by jazz and hip-hop. One band that certainly keeps them happy is KRUSH UK, busy with touring and studio work.
And now we're back with KRUSH UK.
Thank y'all. We appreciate
Great.
it. Thanks for letting us come in here.
There are too many great bands in the city that don't get airplay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, we wish you guys the best of luck. You're class individuals, and I know you're going at it full throttle.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
KRUSH UK, 92.3 The Point.
I'm so far away. Please just let me lay. I have closed my eyes and left the world far behind. Don't wake me up and tell me that there's some place that I must go. The things that I am dreaming of is something I'll never know. Places I'm not sure really exist. I visit from time to time. I drift away to a yesterday that never really was mine.
I think I was 5 years old when my dad bought an organ for the family. It was one of those Hammond sounder organs where you press the button and it's got the buttons for samba and rumba and Latin, you know, and it had everything pre-programmed, and I just sat down with that, you know, and just ran with it, you know. For some reason, I just learned how to play it, and I learned all the songs in the little book. My mom and dad would go out or something, and the babysitter would come over, and I'd start playing the organ, and these girls would say, "Wow, you know, you're really good at that, you know." I like that. I like that attention. So I didn't get influenced to become a musician until October 27th, 1976. I remember it vividly. It was a couple days before Halloween, and there was a show on TV called the Paul Lynde Halloween Special. And Paul Lynde came out and introduced, here they are, folks. You wanted them? You got them. Here's Kiss. Kiss. I had never heard of Kiss. What's Kiss? I was 8 years old, you know? And this elevator came down, and it opened up, and out stepped these superheroes with guitars in their hands. And I remember seeing them for the first time. It was just overwhelming, you know? It was like nothing I had ever seen before. I didn't think this could be done, you know? It was just, I didn't think something like that was possible, and here it was, live in front of me on TV. It was just amazing. I didn't know that that was an option in life, you know? I could do this. This is a job. This is what they do. I could do that. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I didn't have any doubts. And, but I never changed my mind. I never have.
The first time I had an ambition, I think, to do music was when I heard Barry Manilow. And I used to come home every day and I used to sing, like by my pool and stuff. I used to put the album out, and I used to look at his face with his big nose and stuff. And amazing, because his nose is so big. I'm like, I wanted to do that.
Me and Jeff haven't seen each other in a while, and we didn't get a chance to exchange gifts for Christmas. So Jeff, Merry Christmas. I got you this 8x10 from 16 magazine of your idol, Barry Manilow.
Thank you very much.
And his Beagle Bagel. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas, Jeff.
Barry Manilow is in a house.
Then when I was 12, I heard Love Me Do and the 20 greatest hits of the Beatles, and I heard that. And after that, it was like, you know, that's when I really got into music. That's when I really started listening to it. When I first wanted to be in a band, I guess I always wanted to do it, because I guess it started when I was in high school, and I'd come home from practice, and my mom would be, they don't even know this, my mom would be at work till like 4:30, and that means I had like an hour to play air guitar. So I'd get my tennis racket, I'd put on Bon Jovi's first album and like rock out to Run Away and stuff. So that was probably when I really wanted to do it, because every day, I'd jump off the little bitty Jack Daniels box we had and stuff, and it was just me in my house, and I'd check every 10 minutes to see if my mom was coming or something like that, you know.
See, I was about 11 years old, and I saw my uncle, two of my uncles had a band together, and I went and watched that band, and they both played guitar. One played bass and the other played guitar, and I knew right then that I wanted to play guitar. Got him to show me a few things, and you know, that was pretty much when I first decided that I want to play guitar. I got my first guitar a little bit after that. I think I asked for it for Christmas. It was a Memphis Les Paul copy. It started my fascination with Les Pauls, I think, having that guitar. Like I said, my uncles both played guitar, and they would show me a few chord patterns. And one of the things I think that they did better than just teaching me how to play, they taught me how to teach myself. They taught me how to figure songs out and how to learn on my own, and that really helps.
And they used to tell me when I was little, I'd grab all the pots and the spoons and beat up on that. And then when I was 7 years old, for some reason, they bought me a guitar. Why a guitar, I have no idea. Took lessons, I hated it. I wound up turning the guitar around and used to beat on the back of it till I broke the guitar. Then they finally realized, well, I guess he really wants to play drums. And when I was about 12 years old, got my first drum set. 3 weeks after I got it, I was playing in a band.
The name of my first band in 7th grade was Mercury Invasion. That's where it all started. And so we had matching little blue baseball jerseys with a Mercury Invasion with the little felt letters on it, and matching blue and white wristbands and matching shoes. And, you know, we were in 7th grade. It was pretty hokey. But that was it. That was the beginning of it. We played in a couple talent shows, but it was all instrumental. Nobody could sing. Nobody wanted to sing. Our voices were changing, and you know, it would have been awful. Hey, I'm Marguerite. So anyway, we're sounding like Mr. Haney from Green Acres, trying to sing a song, you know. Hey now.
I met Benny through band in junior high. He was 2 years ahead of me in school. And I used to always see him in Mercury Invasion, saw him play, and I played in band. And I had met him a couple times, didn't really know him good.
I don't ever remember meeting Nicky. It's just like I've always known him. I don't think we ever did really meet. I think I have always just known him. You know, even the first time I saw him, oh, that's Nicky Manali. Everybody knew Nicky Manali.
Yeah, I think the first time I met Nicky, I had a paper route in his neighborhood. His parents were on my route, and he used to ride his bike around. And as I was doing my paper route, I started talking to him.
Meeting Trey was weird. I had a park across the street from my house, and Trey and a friend of his were playing guitar in there, and they had another guy that I knew, Tim Gandy, introduced me to Trey and this other guy. Just by chance, it was a weird day. Trey, you know, tell me, yeah, my little brother plays guitar and this and that. And I would have gotten with him later about that, but a guy came across the street, hit me in the head with a pair of nunchucks. No lie, this is true. And the guy I knew, Tim, that was Trey's good friend, beat the crap out of him for me. But yeah, it's a weird story there. That's how me and Trey actually met. He was in the park. Trey's band was the band in Slidell that you wanted to be like. That's who everybody went to see. And then we got, you know, Trey's little brother, so we used to open up for them.
We were like Def Leppard, exactly. We wore the spandex pants and everything, and you know, long hair, and we played a lot of Def Leppard and Black Sabbath, and that was really probably where I, you know, got developed my own playing style. You know, where I played a certain way, and we also our biggest show was when we played the Chuck E. Cheese in Slidell. And everybody came out, and they closed Chuck E. Cheese down, set up a stage, and we played there, and it was a lot of fun.
Did you work there?
Yeah, I worked there at the time. So, I was Chucky.
Around the same time, a friend of mine, Tina, showed me an album that she had just bought by a British band named Duran Duran. So I really got into Duran Duran after a while. I really started liking their music, and for the first time, I had a keyboard player to look up to. You know, no one at that point had really been you know, you always have your rock guitar gods, you know, everybody always looked up to the Eddie Van Halens and the Ace Frehleys and stuff, until Nick Rhodes came along, and then it was like, okay, this is possible. I didn't know this was possible. He can do this, I can do that. I want to do that. I'm going to do that.
Benny was a Duranie. Had the spiked hair, different color, wore the trench coat.
Started to look like them, I got my hair cut like them, started to dress like them. I was a teenage Duranie. At this point, the band Savage had kind of metamorphosized into a band called Maiden Voyage, which consisted of Nicky Manali on drums, Brent Kelly on guitar, and a couple other guys, rhythm guitar, bass guitar.
Me and Brent, Trey's little brother, stayed together. And we had another friend who played guitar, another friend who played bass, got them, and we wanted to get a keyboard player. And they're like, man, do you know anybody? I was like, well, the only guy I know that plays keyboards I've said no is Benny Bruce. And, you know, Mr. Duranie, and we were all kind of, Mr. Duranie, you know.
So Nicky asked me to join his band, and I remember going to the first practice. I was nervous as hell. I'd never met these guys, and I knew they were all into metal and stuff, and here I was, Mr. New Wave, you know.
And he wasn't doing anything at the time, decided to check it out, and we all got together in the practice room. That's how Maiden Voyage came about.
I mean, we're talking 10, 11-year-old kids playing, and they were just about one of the best bands around at that time. I mean, I used to go see them and was just in shock. I mean, very few bands can probably say this, but when they were in junior high, they played their junior high dances, every one of them, you know, and I thought that was just amazing. I used to go see them, and I was just blown away every time I saw them.
We had our own little fan club. It was nice.
And it was nuts. We felt like rock stars. I mean, people screaming, hollering, giving autographs.
Or they would, you know, follow our cars around, or if they knew we were playing somewhere, they'd show up 5-6 hours early knowing we'd be there setting up just to watch us and take pictures of us from a distance. This was all new to me. I didn't know this was possible.
Please welcome Maiden Voyage.
As soon as I graduated high school, I knew I had to go to California. There was no question about it. I had thought about it and talked about it for years, and now there were no excuses. It was time.
I'm not here to tell you you can't do something because I did it. You can do it.
Packed my keyboards, kissed the dog, waved goodbye to my parents, and I moved to Hollywood. My first night in California, I remember it vividly. You know, I was just right off the freeway, and I pulled over into this record store and got a magazine, a free music magazine, BAM, that tells you where everybody's playing and stuff. And I just started thumbing through it, and there was a double-page ad, and it was Tough, live at the country club. And it was that night, so that's where I went. So I bought my ticket, and I walked in there, and Tough took the stage and just blew me away. And it was that night that I decided, you know what, I'm going to be their keyboard player. Now, Tough at this time was the biggest draw in Los Angeles. What I would do is I would go to Tough concerts, and I'd sneak a tape recorder inside my jacket. I have a little tape recorder. I would turn it on when Tough came on stage at the Whiskey, remember. And I taped all of their songs. I wouldn't clap at the end so I could get all the chords, changes, and everything. And then I went home and I learned how to play their songs. And I would record myself along with the live tape, so it would mix them together, and I had another tape recorder recording that, and I would take that tape. I worked in a record store at the time, and I would wrap it up. I'd put my picture on the tape. I'd shrink wrap it. I'd go to the next Tough concert, and as soon as the band came out on stage, I'd throw the cassette onto the stage, and I could only pray that they would listen to it later or it would end up in the right hands. I would call their hotline, their little voicemail thing that tells you where they're going to be playing, and I would, I'd leave a message. Hey, this is Benny Bruce, your keyboard player. I just moved from New Orleans, and check this out. And I'd put the phone down by the speaker, and I'd just wail on the keyboard. Check it out, man. I'm really good. I'm doing this with one hand. Eruption by Eddie Van Halen. And I'm playing all this stuff, and just made a real nuisance out of myself. I made sure that they at least had to know who I was, whether I was going to be in the band or not. They knew who I was, and they were the biggest band out there. So that's how I did that. And so they said, all right, well, let's give this kid an audition, or he's never going to leave us alone. So I went into the audition. I had already pre-learned their songs, but I acted like I didn't know them. And they would say, here's a song, Forever Yours. It's in the key of D. It goes like this. I'm like, just go ahead and play it. I'll find something. And I start playing this part that I had spent hours arranging my keyboard parts to. And I was singing the background vocals like I just heard the song for the first time, and they were completely blown away. So from then on, I was Tough's keyboard player. That was definitely a hired gun for Tough. I wasn't a member of the band. I've never claimed to be a member of the band. Contrary to popular belief, I've had a lot of people come back on me and say that I was trying to get credit for being in the band. That's not true. I mean, I did want to be in the band, and I tried everything I could to become a member of the band. But that's just looking out for myself. That's how I got into being their keyboard player, was to make a nuisance of myself. So why not try and become a full-fledged member? So yeah, I made a big deal out of that. I wanted to be in the band. And I think at one point they were considering adding me in, or at least a couple members I know were. They asked me to do a photo shoot with them to see what I look like in pictures with the band and if I fit the image and that kind of thing. So I did a photo session on Sunset Boulevard. I was Tough's keyboard player for about 3 years, from like 88 through 90, 88, 89, and 90. The first show that I ever played with Tough was a sellout at the Roxy. I was touring the country in a first-class tour bus. I had my own bunk. I was doing the whole, looking out the window, thinking deep thoughts, like the Bon Jovi video. I was really eating it up, and I thought I deserved it. I really didn't stop and enjoy it like, oh, this may never happen to me again, because at the time I was thinking, you know what, this is about right. I'm 19 years old. I'm, headlining shows with Los Angeles' biggest band. Yeah, that's about right. So we played all over the West. I played up in the Stone in San Francisco, all the way down the coast in California, all the big clubs in LA, the Troubadour, the Roxy, the Whiskey, Gazzari's, just all over the place. We played in Phoenix, we played in Tucson. It was a lot of fun. It was one of the greatest times of my life. Playing great music, meeting wonderful people, beautiful women. You know, it was just a lot of fun. But all good things must come to an end, and so did my experience with Tough. Their music started getting heavier. This is when Skid Row was really popular, and they wanted to change their style a little bit. So there were fewer and fewer keyboard parts for me to play, and eventually I stopped playing for them. And around the same time, I lost my job, and my dad got real sick back home in New Orleans. So I decided to go back home. So I came back to New Orleans.
It's always what I wanted. I think I realized that more in high school when I gave up playing baseball to keep playing music. And then when I went to college, the only reason I went to college is to make the parents happy, I suppose. And I get the band going. If something comes up and the band does real good, I'll just quit school and hit the road, which would have happened with the law except for one person. One person would not quit school. And that's what broke the band up. But we were all planning on I was going to quit school. We were going to go on the road. We had everything set up, booking agent, everything. We're going up and down the East Coast. And I got frustrated, cut my hair off.
Now, the whole time I was in L.A., Nicky was playing around around the South. And he was only, 17, 18, 19 years old. And he was really carving out a really good reputation as one of the most solid drummers in the South at that young age. I remember he played with a band called The Take.
And I was in KDT fraternity, and there was a guy in there, Mark Hessler, and he was the singer for The Take. And I always told him, yeah, I played drums on. He never did believe me. And I went over to his house one day. He had a set there, sat down and started playing it. Next day, they kicked their drummer out, and I was the new drummer in The Take.
I would come home for Christmas from Los Angeles, and I'd hang out with Nicky and show him all the things with Tough that I was doing, and I would go see him play. It was just phenomenal.
Here's Nicky Manali, drummer for right over there.
But he was just phenomenal. Kept getting better and better and better. Once I was back in New Orleans, I was kind of sick of the metal thing. It was not so much the music as it was trying to deal with the metal musicians. There was more out there. I wanted to say something more with my music. I had done that. Started listening to the Dan Reed Network and Lenny Kravitz's first album and things like that. And I really was into that type of music. And I hooked up with a guy named John Logan, who I'd met years earlier. And we started writing songs together. Actually came up with a lot of songs that ended up as KRUSH UK songs later, that ended up on a couple of our tapes. Two in the Hand, Waiting for Your Love. Co-wrote The World's on Fire with John Logan. And Romantic Depressive, the title. All these things are holdovers with me and John working on our project. Around the same time, I got a call from Nicky, who was going to school up in Hammond at Southeastern Louisiana University, and he had been approached by this guy named Byron. Now, Byron's story is he was the lighting man for a dance band out of Baton Rouge named Savello. Now, Savello needed an opening band because they didn't want to play 4 hours every night. They wanted to show up, play like an hour-and-a-half set, and go home. And so they wanted some little younger band to come on, use their equipment or whatever, and just play a 45-minute set of dance songs and, pay them a couple $100, and that would be that, So Byron said, well, I can do that. He was a voice major. He was a very good singer. And so Byron said, well, let me find some people. Let me put this band together, and we'll be Savello's opening band. So Byron went in, and as the legend has it, saw Nicky play.
Well, Byron had seen me play with the Jetsons. The guy gives me a call, says, yeah, I got this thing opening for a band who's getting ready to sign a major record deal. And here's what I'd like to do. I want to put this band together, playing all high-energy dance music. would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, I'll see what you got to say. Tell me about it.
Like $75 a night, 3 nights a week, guaranteed.
He's like, okay, well, I want to sing. I have this keyboard. Do you know any keyboard players?
He had one guy that was a keyboard player. They needed somebody else. And so once again, Nicky, yeah, I know a keyboard player. He's real good. His name's Benny Bruce, and he just came back from L.A. He plays in Tough. And at this time, Tough had been signed to Atlantic Records and had a big hit on MTV. It was like #2 most requested video. The CD was all over Z-Rock Radio, and Metalheads, they were on the cover of all the magazines, and all these big feature stories and posters and all this kind of stuff. So at that time, saying that you had played with Tough carried some weight. That was really impressive.
Tony's on the line from Phoenix, Arizona. Go ahead, Tony.
Hi, Brett.
Hey, Tony, how are you doing?
All right, you wrote a song that's on a debut album for a band named Tough out of Los Angeles, California. And I was wondering if you plan on helping them in their career and other artists with upcoming debuts.
Yeah, absolutely. The Tough guys have actually kind of fell together. What happened was I met a few of the guys in the band down there, and then they have different members. And I'd asked them, I'd written a bunch of different songs outside of Poison. I said, "Do you guys looking for a song?" And they were looking for a song at the time. And so it ended up on their records called Wake Me Up. And it actually came out very nice. And so we worked on the tune, and it was kind of hard because we were on the road. I would have liked to produce it, but they had a great guy producing. And they just kind of kept in touch with me. And I wanted to make sure it came out sounding nice. They put some piano and stuff on. And
I certainly hope Stevie Rochelle are watching tonight.
Yeah. And so we had 2 weeks to go till our first show, opening for Savello, and we needed another keyboard player desperately. We just needed somebody to stand behind the keyboards and play these chords, And Nicky had mentioned something about a guy that he works with in a nightclub named Sparky. He's like, "So let's go up and meet Sparky." And I'm like, "Sparky? What is he, a beagle?"
And then I went and talked to Sparky when we were still working together, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in, man."
I met Nicky from fraternities. He was in KDT, I was in Teak, and we always used to hang out, both fraternities. But I used to manage this bar, and he was a bartender. And we kind of got close and stuff from that. That's basically who I met first. I had no idea about Benny. I had no idea who Byron was at all. So Nicky was the first person I met, and I had no idea he even played music. Me and Nicky were talking, and he said that he was looking for a keyboard player in his band that he was starting up. And his story will probably say that I lied and stuff, but I told him, I said, if somebody can show me what to play, I can play it. He's like, okay, well, that's all we need.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I've been playing for years. I took piano lessons for years. Oh yeah, I know like the back of my hand. Now it's been a while. You may have to show me some stuff just to get me going. But I'm a fast learner. I'll pick up on stuff real quick, and sure, no problem."
I'm like, all right. I had no idea that the next day he'd call me and say, "Hey, come try out." I was just basically say, "Hey, this is my shot. I'll lie, whatever."
"Oh yeah, got it taken care of, babe." That was it. That was the lineup. We needed a name in an hour, so we came up with Reality.
And we started practicing in his little one-bedroom apartment, moving stuff around.
It was a high-energy dance band. We played a lot of Dead or Alive. We played New Water, the Info Society stuff, a lot of different other type of dance, high-energy music and stuff. And that was good at the time because that's what was in, and that's what we wanted to be, was a high-energy dance band.
Playing stuff that the only time I ever listened to was when I went to the clubs.
Played a lot in Baton Rouge and Lafayette a couple times, and some places I won't even want to mention. But image was real important at that time because we were in to the high energy, and everybody, you dress up, and as far as the people who were playing for it, they would dress up, and I don't know. It was fun.
I think Byron started to get a little upset because it started off as his thing. And the more I hung out with Nicky and the more I hung out with Sparky, we saw that we had more in common musically than we did with Byron.
Byron thought by getting this band together that what he said was going to go, and then he realized he had 3 stubborn people to deal with that all wanted things a different way.
I know Byron kind of had his own picture of what the band wanted to be because it was his band. You know, Byron was the lead singer, and we were all his backup band.
You know, we wanted to wear the black leather. And
this was when Benny had long hair, and Nicky had short hair, and I had long hair, and Byron had this thing, whatever it was, some curly thing happening. And we were all dressed up, thinking that we looked good. We probably looked like crap, but
So there was a little bit of tension, and eventually something happened with Byron's throat, or something like that, and he had to take a couple months off. It was supposed to be a couple weeks, turned into a couple months of us just sitting there. I found out later that he was already rehearsing with other musicians to replace us.
Probably about a month and a half. We never heard. I never talked to Benny, I never talked to Nicky or anything like that. Everybody was just kind of sitting there.
When it became obvious to us that Byron was not going to be in the picture anymore, we sat down and had a meeting, just the 3 of us, and we wanted to know whether we should give it up. You know, we had a lot of fun. Should we stop or should we keep going, you know? And we had a huge following under the name Reality, and there was really no point in giving it up, you know? Let's change it, but let's not stop.
And we just decided to make it a 3-piece.
We started playing the clubs again as a 3-piece this time. Just Nicky and Sparky and myself.
Got all the dance stuff back down, started playing. We're doing a lot of modern dance. We did good, still packed places.
They had a really good show. And like I said, it was high energy dance. And I used to go and just stand in the back and go, man, these guys are amazing, you know.
When it falls, it's where I want it to be. Makes sense, don't you think?
But he can get a lot more volume, right, by using the polymetric system. See, it's okay right now, but if he uses the system, get more into the scalp, get more into the hair follicles.
One of these days, you're going to push play
Me, Benny, and Nicky played for probably about a year by ourselves as a 3-piece, as Reality.
Around that time, the whole music scene changed. That's when Pearl Jam and Nirvana and all that was coming out, and you either had to go that direction or rap, you know, and we didn't want to go either. And around this time, we changed our name to Pencils and Crayons, and I'm not really sure why.
I'll take blame for this. Name Pencils and Crayons came about. It's when we first got Trey, I think. No, we're still a 3-piece, and we're looking for a new name. And I thought of Pencils and Crayons, and I think I mentioned it to Benny. I said, Benny, how about Pencils and Crayons as a name? He's like, oh, yeah.
I didn't know anything about, you know, what was hip or what was cool or what was college or what was alternative or anything like that. You know, I hardly ever went out, and when I would go out, I'd go home like an hour after, you know, everybody else had just got there. And so Sparky came up with this name, Pencils and Crayons. So I took his word for it as, okay, that's bizarre, that's kind of strange sounding, let's go with that. I don't know, you know, who am I to judge this stuff?
Benny's like, well, we have the new name. I'm like, what's the new name? He's like, Pencils and Crayons. So I take full responsibility from it. I just said it because it's the first thing I thought of, I guess, or only thing I thought of.
with the three-piece, we went as far as we could, and we started realizing we needed a guitar player, and that's where Trey comes into the picture. Me and Trey were roommates with another guy, Jeff Gibson. They had a little acoustic act called Thick and Thin.
He was our friend. We didn't have to pay him, you know, so we got Thick and Thin to open up for us.
We want to thank Thick and Thin for opening up for us tonight. It's like, let's hear it for Thick and Thin.
We started playing, you know, at the little coffee houses, and we would open up for Reality, Benny and Nikki's band. We had a lot of fun doing it. Never made any money, of course, you know. Well, that was Thick and Thin. Yeah, the name of that group was Thick and Thin. I was thick. He was thin.
Trey used to live with Nikki and used to live with Benny in this old house. And we always used to, like, when we wouldn't practice, we'd sit around playing guitar, play Indigo Girls and stuff like that.
I would play on the guitar and try to see if they could guess the songs. And one time I played a whole bunch of Def Leppard. He didn't realize I knew all that, you know, because he would go see us play, and we would play Indigo Girls and REM, and he didn't realize my Prisoner Purgatory days. And so I think one day I kind of blew him away playing a lot of Def Leppard, which is one of his favorite bands. I didn't know that at the time. I guess that's what started him, because I think he in the beginning was pushing to get me into the band when the band started to want to go more electric rock, you know, as opposed to high energy. And I think he was the one that kind of pushed, hey, we got this guitar player, he lives right here, you know.
Did somebody step in a big pile of sassy?
As it turned out, it was definitely the right thing to do. Trey was the perfect person to add for the band.
I still didn't think they were serious about having me play guitar with them, because to me they were so much better than I was, and I already had a following and developed a lot of fans and stuff. And then one day Sparky called me up.
So it was kind of right place at the right time, and I think I called him, or maybe Benny called him, and he was like, yeah, I'd love to do it, I can practice, but I have drill once a month. We're like, oh yeah, no problem, you know.
He was a lot more like I was. Me and him were both hard-driving musicians. We were both into the heavier scene, and with our music, what we were doing was needed a little bit of a heavier edge to it. And by bringing Trey in as guitar player, he fit us perfect, but still when you wanted that edge, he had the edge you needed to bring it. He brought it to the next level.
Around this time, the New Orleans music scene, the all-original music scene, started to become exciting again. It had been dead for so many years. But things were starting to pick up, and we wanted to gear ourselves toward that market.
We wanted to put something out ourselves, you know, a little 9 or 10 song cassette, you know, pencils and crayons, and put it out there and see what would happen and stuff.
Just about every song had been written already, except for Asaria and maybe 1 or 2 other ones. They'd all been written. Benny had written those prior to myself joining the band.
And I've never written before, and Nikki didn't have any, and Trey didn't have any, so it was basically, Benny had a bunch of songs. We also listened to some of Benny's old songs and put them on a tape, and we came up with 9 songs.
Turned out to be products of a pop culture. We recorded products of a pop culture on a 4-channel recorder, about the size of a shoebox.
We recorded it on a 4-track because we had no money. I mean, for the last 2 years we were playing, all of our show money would go in our pockets. You know, we never put anything into a band fund or something like that.
The best recorded 4-track in-house tape that you will ever hear, which is Products of a Pop Culture.
The recording process was great. It was Benny in his room with his 4-track, and he would call us up one at a time. Come over, you know, bring your guitar, you know, and I would go over there and play, and we were cooking. We would do a song an hour, I think.
There was no ping pong recording. There was no bouncing down. Everything you heard was directly laid onto the tape. There was no outboard effects even.
Benny came up with some really cool effects, you know, singing into a glass jar or whatever, making the reverb. It was definitely a budget project, but it came out. I was really happy with it.
You could just sample it and put it next to each other.
I had to sample each line one by one, each lyric line one at a time for the entire album. It was an hour long, and insert it into the music by hand, manually, by triggering the key.
Hi, I'm Sparky from Pencils and Crayons, and it's November, help me here, November
19th?
November 19th. We're here at the, help me again, please.
Quail Farm.
At the Quail Farm.
Dan Quayle's house.
Alberta Springs. Right now, we're doing a little album called Products of a Pop Culture, and it's been taking a lot of time. A lot of people are really anxious to find out what it's all about, and the way we write our songs, as far as you can see Trey right here, he's working on a song right now. To start our songs with congruent formulas. Right. You see, this is PNC code. It's secret code.
Focus.
It's PNC code because we don't want anybody to copyright our songs. What this is basically saying is, ooh, I love fat girls.
The songs themselves reflected where we were at that time, you know. But it was a very transitional period.
It was during a time when the band was evolving, was changing.
And I like that album. I thought it was good. I think it was a real good first album. I mean, for a band who's never played at Jimmy's or something like that to put out an album like that, you know, I think it was pretty impressive.
I do like to listen to the old tape though, because it was pretty cool thinking about recording it in Benny's room. 4 in the morning.
It's great, which I still like. I still listen to it.
I'm still really proud of it. We got a really good review on that album in the New Orleans newspaper, in the Lanyap. They actually put us on the cover, and they never put bands on the cover, still.
We played a bunch of big shows when that album first came out. We played with Cowboy Mouth, we played with Dash, we played with Ezra.
Gene Loves Jezebel, Information Society, The Dwellers, The Caulfields, Better Than Ezra, Dead-Eye Dick.
I really liked the show we did at Kenny's Key West when we opened for Information Society. It was really big, a lot of people. I thought the people really liked our music.
We've had a lot of big shows where people, you know, would be grabbing me and Trey's legs, you know, or...
When we opened up for Cowboy Mouth or Dash, it was like when we first started, we were all in our smoking jackets and tight velvet pants on and stuff. It was really weird to be in the audience, I'm sure, because you'd have Pencils and Crayons who would be playing this type of music, and then come on and hear Dash Rip Rock sing that Causeway song or something that they do. You know, it was like totally on both sides of the spectrum and stuff. But that would probably be one of the best ones, I'd say, for that album.
Our sound started to change around that time. Again, it just evolved, constantly evolving. Even the songs that were put on Products of a Pop Culture, the way that we performed them changed. They started getting heavier. Trey really came into his own, getting more aggressive on the guitar arrangements, and just the way that we did them, it was really, really powerful. Nicky switched from using electric drums to using acoustic drums, which really kicked it in the ass as far as power goes.
And we started writing different originals. Everybody in the band started bringing some different ideas.
I think me, Trey, and Nicky kind of got an itch to, you know, say, man, that was a great one, you know, that was a good song that Benny did. On the next album, I want to try and write something like that, you know, or put something out, or contribute a little more to the songwriting.
And then Sparky and I both purchased guitars about the same time, started playing a lot of rhythm guitar, and that really, really changed our sound a whole lot for the better, I think.
I usually write with Sparky. He's a lot of fun. He's creative, you know, and
he's not afraid to try something, you know, and I can just throw something out there and he'll go with it, and I enjoy that.
But me and Trey started writing, and we wrote our first song together, which is still one of the stronger songs in our set.
A young band, while being from New Orleans, their roots really stem from the early English rock sounds of David Bowie, many bands. This particular band has got different members in it from all over the place, and probably uptown, downtown, across the river, but they're very much their own sound. They produced their own video. It was recently released, and their new CD will be coming out real soon. We expect everybody to get out and get it. Right now, let's give a big warm New Orleans after midnight welcome for KRUSH UK.
As the night moves so quickly and the day comes alive, I can see the fear and terror in your eyes. And the day gets no better as you walk the streets alone. Now the miles you walked have left you far from home. So you settle in for the nighttime, a cold blanket at your bed, and you long to live the life that you live. And I know it's where you're going. Why don't you tell me where you've been? And I know I can't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. See the lines on this young girl's face from living in this wicked place. I can't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. Don't take me into your darkness. It's a place where I won't go. And don't take me to the place that you know. And I know you got your hopes up, and you pocket your own dreams. And a better life is further than it seems. And the fading light of the coming night, or the dream to dream alone. If none of us can make it on our own. And I know it's where you're going. Why don't you tell me where you've been? And I know I can't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. See the lines on this young girl's face from living in this wicked place. I can't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. Listen to your heartbeat say, even though you're miles away, you've got to find your way back home. And I know just where you're going. Why don't you tell me where you've been? And I know I can't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. See the lines on this young girl's face from living in this wicked place. I can't believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. Come on, know just where you're going. Why don't you tell me where you've been? Come on, believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to see the lines on this young girl's face, living in this wicked place. Believe that that's the way it's supposed to
I sit around my house with my guitar, and I put some chords together, put a song together that I liked. Benny came over with the keyboard one day. We put it down. If he ever plays that horrible mix for anybody, I'll kill him. And I put just the backbone of how I wanted the song to be, the words and everything. Benny took it home with him, came back with the opening cut.
break the dolls and crush the walls again. Never ever lie. Never ever
We changed the name of the band from Pencils and Crayons because Pencils and Crayons was getting a reputation as a cover band. We wanted to go into an all-original direction with the band.
That's when we decided to change the name. Came out with KRUSH UK.
Don't do that. I guess they like us.
I wanted something that sounded simple, you know, that was one word that you could just say it and it was over with, you know, like Bush or Oasis or Blur or Kiss, or, you know, just one word that was just, that was us, you know, and it really didn't evoke any images in your mind other than the band, you know. It could definitely be associated with our likeness.
All right, here we are backstage. After the show, Paul McCartney.
Hey, let's go down to Liverpool. It's definitely time for music to change. I mean, you know, where has the melodies gone? Where has the harmonies been?
So we decided, all right, now here's the product. This is going to be the one. We put everything together. We decided to save. Nobody gets a cut of money. Everything goes into a band fund. And we went into the studio.
The studio we recorded at was Mohawk Studio in Pearl River, Louisiana. Pearl River.
This is the studio that we're in, called Mohawk. There's Mr. Bruce. Good morning.
Here's the deal. Morning. The making of Sgt. Pepper 2. George Martin has to leave around 6 or 7. It's bloody good coffee there, bloke. Good. You grow these beans yourself? Oh, bloody hell. It'll get you going when you got to get going, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Where's Ringo?
Sure.
We got to do drum tracks, he's not here yet. I don't know where he is. Bloody hell.
Let's see what we're capable of. If we can sound this good on 4 channels, what can we sound like on 24? Let's go in and let's make a record. So we went in, and I saw very early on that we were going to have to do this ourselves.
Hey, they were tickling. It sounded good. I mean, you know, so.
Yeah, they wanted.
We even let them hook their effects units up, like he had a couple of Boss units. And with a patch bay, it's easy. You know, he had them sitting right there, so I got me a cup of coffee and went in there and played Sim City 2000 on
We had this producer. I guess he was good, but he was more of a country format and wasn't really into what we were doing and stuff. And we had no idea, you know, what this guy was doing, what buttons he was pressing and stuff like that. But we were in there, and I guess we all picked up on it, you know.
Really, we got in there the first couple of days, and Benny learned the equipment, learned how to operate all the recording equipment, and didn't need an engineer.
The whole effort on this started out with the studio people working on it, and then they wound up getting booted out, really. We didn't need to use them, and wound up doing what we wanted and getting the sound we wanted.
So we did this ourselves. It was definitely hands-on. We made a lot of mistakes, and we learned a lot of things, but sometimes that's the best way to do it. And it was a lot of fun.
Barky. How you doing?
Tired.
It took a long span of time, but we weren't in the studio for a lot of hours, to be honest. I think a lot of people would be shocked.
We worked our ass off in the studio. You know, I mean, it took a year and a half, 2 years. You know, every weekend for about a year and a half, you know, we were in there from 9 o'clock in the morning, you know, till late at night, trying to do this record.
And hopefully when everybody hears the CD that comes out, they'll understand why we did it the way we did it, and our way.
And I think what came out was really good. I'm really proud of it.
You don't feel like talking anymore. And you don't
the album, you know, is going to be out soon, and probably about 6 months ago, we had one person hear it, you know, a big famous writer who's, you know, wrote songs with Kiss and, you know, worked with Tori Amos and has pictures with the Beatles and stuff in magazines. This guy heard one song, you know, the first important person who actually heard our album and heard one song and wanted to fly us to Japan in 3 weeks, you know.
Kim Fowley, legendary producer, he ended up in New Orleans looking for new bands, and got a hold of a copy of our album. It hadn't even been mastered yet. I don't even think we had recorded everything on the album. Somehow he got his hands on a copy of some songs and offered us a record deal. I mean, this was a big deal to me because Kim Fowley wrote 2 songs with Kiss that were on the first Kiss album that I ever bought. You know, I've seen his name for as long as I've been liking Kiss. So that was a real thrill to be sitting across the table from Kim, writing songs, you know, working on our music together and talking about all the plans that he had for us. And that was real exciting. Just the logistics of the deal didn't work out, so that fell through. But, you know, the point is, this was one person that heard this, and I think as soon as somebody else hears it, it gets in the right hands. It's definitely going to take us somewhere.
We feel real confident about it, you know, but it's really not up to us now. It's up to somebody to listen to it and say, okay, hey, I think this is great, and I want to get behind y'all and stuff. You know?
Somebody willing to take a chance that doesn't want what's out there now. That wants a little bit something a little bit different. That's maybe a step beyond what's out there now. It's taking the good things that musicians are doing today and some of the stuff that's been popular in the past and making it a little different. I think that's what we did.
Pictures on my door frame, 15 minutes of your fame, cut out from teen magazines. You don't know just where to go, girl. I could be a Romeo. We're not as far apart as we seem. But when the tears start to fall, I will wipe your face. When you've heard every line, I will know just what to say. There was a girl from the south who made, I forgot her name, but she wrote the words in a very clean magazine, and we made love till dawn. When I woke, she was gone, but I never saw her since that day, the day she left, and she goes away and leaves me back behind her. She's gone astray, and all I hear is a song that fills the air. She left behind almost 13 pages, different phrases, words to our song that we stole the tune from Paper Moon. And when the talk grew deep, I've got it broken. I then watched her sleep, but I never saw her since that day, the day she left, and she goes away and leaves me back behind her. She's gone astray, and all I hear is a song that fills the air. Everything's broken, the words are all broken. On the day she went away, but I never saw her since that day, the day she left, and she goes away and leaves me
I think this album really shows how diverse we are. You know, I can't stand listening to an album or something that I buy now and every song sounds the same. I mean, after song 6, I'm ready to turn it off and, you know, go to my next, you know, tape or something like that.
We've never taken a step back. We're always going forward with what we do. Actually, I still think we're a little ahead of what's out now.
I think the thing about the KRUSH UK sound that makes it different than what's out there is that we're polished. I mean, and also what's different than a lot of the songs that are out there now, it's kind of upbeat, you know. We have upbeat lyrics and upbeat songs.
Well, don't look to me for sympathy. It's case number 63. Wasn't in love, we were all to me. Or did someone dig up the sea? Our time apart, lacking something most peculiar. The last supper, a painful place. Well, I'll ask God, but I'm afraid that he's up and he moved away. I do not know. I wash my hands of the situation. If I should go, well, don't look to me for sympathy. It's case number 63. The time in September, it was the things we said today. But then came November, she said, boy, you got to hide your love away.
Every day you drive me away, chasing my car on the interstate. You could say you simply made a mistake, but you'd be lying. They said I wouldn't get very far, lost in the dark. Took the useless theories and I blew 'em Now I made it to the top of the hill, and I'm still trying. Drunk with 1,000 eyes, the sun in me, and a change might do me good. Haunting reflection. Yeah, I wanna break this mirror. Remind the past and lost its home. One thing for sure is that you'll never take us far. I wanna break this mirror wall. When I'm stoned on the couch, dreaming about things that I could do if I could just go out. Drink another beer to deaden the pain, and I'm flying. Mama's inside, baking a pie, screaming at the TV with the children outside. Just another boring day in the life, and I'm crying.
absurd. Say the word, seeking friendship with no potential. So brother number one, C-class sister, looking for fun with a single white mister. You pour your heart out on the lake, and you let the billboard be your stay. Are you supermodel, sleek, imposable? Are you narrow-minded, weak and disposable? I can't believe I really come to this. Loser a go-go, send me a photo to complete this perfect person that's in my head. If there's anybody out there that won't judge me through, just leave a message, baby, and I'll judge you. Innocent shy girl seeks angry young man. Wrinkled old geezer seeks a girl with a tan. A sensitive painter for walks in the rain. Someone to define me and then cause me pain. You pour your heart out on the page, and you let the billboard be your stay. Are you supermodel, sleek, imposable? Are you narrow-minded, weak and disposable? I can't believe I've really come to this. Loser a go-go, send me a photo to complete this perfect person that's in my head. If there's anybody out there that won't judge me through, just leave a message, baby, and I'll judge you. Put this bit here and that bit there, and turn this down and turn that around. And what I'm saying is that you pretty much suck, but other than that, it's great. So put this bit here and put that bit there. I promise I'll spit with an English kid on you. Loser a go-go, send me
I think that this band has a chance. I really do. And that's a realistic view of it, you know.
So my expectations on it is really good. I think we got a bunch of really great songs that could be played on a lot of formats of radio, alternative or pop or adult contemporary.
I'd be happy with making a decent living and being able to go on the road and sell out the big clubs and play the major clubs.
My goal for this is basically to try and get a major record deal out of it and start touring and hook up with Jewel, you know?
Whatever happens, we're going to end up with a very good CD that people who own it will appreciate it and listen to it a lot.
This has definitely been the best time of my life, you know, and I hope it goes on for a couple years, and I hope that we all reach what we wanted from childhood. You know, that's to be successful and make a living off of it, you know.
And if that doesn't happen, what's the worst thing that happens? You know, we spend 10 years making good music, meeting a lot of different people, having a lot of fun, and
use our degrees.
Yeah, get real jobs and suffer like the rest of the world.
Me, for one, I'm ready to give up my real job. And
I definitely think we all are ready to give up on the whole 9-to-5 thing and be able to, you know, take our music to other countries and stuff and influence other people and hang around with people that we've always idolized, you know.
I definitely think something's going to happen. I mean, you always have to believe you're going to make it, or you'll go crazy in this business, you know.
I just hope one day that all four of us can look at each other and say, hey, we made it, because we've all worked our ass off for it.